Good morning, dudes and dudettes. I'm dressed like this for a reason. I'm in my biker dudette gear. And I'm here dressed like this for a purpose. Because a viewer, Peggy, and I thank you for sending me this video. I was sent a video for a story idea, and at first I thought I was going to be doing a very different story than what I'm actually going to be doing. Because the caption under the video, basically, it was a Facebook page called Bikers Against Jihad. But I didn't notice that. I noticed the caption, and it was something about that the school district in San Diego. This father was protesting because he felt that his child was being recruited into Islam by the school district. And I thought, wow, that's not right, because I am very much an opponent of forced religious teachings in public schools. You know that about me. But you gotta watch the video, and then you gotta go to the Facebook page. This is why I'm wearing this outfit right now. I do look kind of cool, don't I? I really look cool. And wait till I say, oh, look, I'm going to walk my kid to school today, and oh, it's a little warm, so let me just take this off and show off my tats, you know? Yeah. Wonder how the good Christian mommies who don't believe in tattoos and piercings would feel if I brought my kid to school every morning looking like this. A biker dude. Now put your thumbs away. Believe me, I love bikers. I do. I am not rallying against bikers, but the bikers are now at war with Muslims. And make no mistake about it, this Bikers Against Jihad thing, this page, I looked at it this morning. Believe me, I skimmed it because it started to get me a little nauseous, because it basically means they hate all Muslims. They paint all Muslims with a broad brush, as, by the way, I have just done with bikers. This is what you think of when you think of a biker. You know, they take their leather off, and they got the tats, and they got the glasses, and they got the big hair, or the big beards, and then their wives, they got the eyeshadow, and the eyeliner everywhere, and the piercings everywhere. Do bikers appreciate that? Do they appreciate being painted like Sons of Anarchy on FX? Do they appreciate the fact that their kids might come home and say, wow, you ride a motorcycle. My friend's mommy said you're a drug dealer like Jax and his friends on Sons of Anarchy. We all know how Jax ended up on Sons of Anarchy, right? Riding his Harley into the back of an 18-wheeler. Sorry if I spoiled it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. And yet these biker dudes are teaching their children to hate their Muslim classmates. American-born citizens who practice a religion under their First Amendment right. It's the First Amendment, the most important one. It's the first one. And while I will defend anybody's right to practice no religion at all, I will also defend anybody's right to practice their religion peacefully, any religion they choose, including Islam. This show was supposed to be so different. I had notes, and now I'm just winging it. Because when I saw this video of this guy, this biker dad, walking into the San Diego Public School District meeting and addressing the school board, and he didn't do a great job of addressing them either. He was very disrespectful. When they told him his time was up, he just said, well, no, I've never done this before. I'm going to keep talking. You're going to drag me out of here. You're not going to teach my kid Islam is decent, is a good religion. Here's what actually happened, okay? In this school district, children who were American-born citizens who were Muslim, they practice Islam, which they have a right to do, were being harassed in school by other students. They were being called ragheads. They were being called terrorists. The other children in the school were bullying them. And so the school district called an assembly, and they called in this special group. It was not a class sanctioned by the school district that were passing out prayer rugs or copies of the Quran to students and recruiting them to Islam. It was an assembly to teach the students who were being rude and hateful toward their fellow citizens, their fellow classmates, simply because of the religion they practice, which is their right to do in this country. It was to teach them tolerance, to teach them what Islam is really about. And I promise you that if this had been a reverse situation where Muslim or Jewish kids were picking on Christian kids, I'm sure these parents would want the school district to step in and bring in a group and call an assembly and explain Christianity. Because if you are going to teach your children how hateful Islam is, then you better also include a few stories about Christians who kill in the name of Jesus Christ. You better teach them the story about the beautiful father-to-be who was murdered in Colorado Springs at a Planned Parenthood. Yeah, we don't talk about him because there was a lot of other news going on that day. I've talked about him often. God help me, I don't remember his name. But basically, he and his girlfriend were uninsured. She was pregnant, and he couldn't wait to be a new dad, to meet his child. They went to Planned Parenthood that day for a well baby visit. They couldn't wait to be parents. They were going to maybe find out the gender of their baby that day. But instead, a Christian fanatic, mentally ill, got some guns and decided he wanted to save the babies they were killing at that Planned Parenthood. And guess who he killed? Yeah, that beautiful father-to-be. Because that father-to-be, after he put his girlfriend and their unborn child to safety, he went to help others. And he got in the crossfire and he was killed. In the name of Jesus Christ. Not Allah, not Allah Akbar. In the name of Jesus. The dude who killed him had crosses all over the trailer he called his home. He was a Christian fanatic. And the only person he managed to kill that day was a young father-to-be. And now that baby, I believe it was a boy, was born and has no father in the name of Jesus Christ. Remember that. Remember his story. I remember it. I remember a doctor who performed abortions on rape victims. A doctor who performed abortions that saved women's lives because the pregnancy was going to kill them. And he was gunned down in his church on a Sunday morning by another religious Christian fanatic in the name of Jesus Christ. Not Allah, not Islam, Christianity. Let's remember these people. And let's also remember what we talked about last week about the cycle of hate that is taught at dining room tables, parents to their children. When your daddy is a member of a Facebook page called Bikers Against Jihad, and every post on that page is something that is hatred toward the entire Islamic religion in the whole thing, what do you think you hear at your dinner table? And what do you think you take to school with you? And then you find out one of your little classmates is a Muslim. My dad and mom say, you're ragheads, you're terrorists, you're going to kill us. And what is the school supposed to do? When an entire group of children who have done nothing wrong are being bullied and tortured by their classmates. You know, maybe if some of the kids who have shot up their schools, who have killed innocent children in their schools because they were being bullied and the school turned a blind eye and did nothing, maybe if that school had done something, those children who have been murdered by their classmates, like Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris at Columbine, maybe if the school had done something, some kind of tolerance classes or some kind of intervention, maybe those 12 innocent children who were murdered that April day at Columbine would be alive today. They would be in their 30s. Can you imagine? They would have families. You're never going to know because the school didn't do anything. And Eric Klebold and Dylan Harris are now heroes to some bullied children. So whatever the San Diego School District did, and it wasn't clear from this video because, again, this was just this one father's rant to the school district about he didn't want his kids being taught anything good about Islam or the Muslim religion. Again, it's hate. And I would actually like to ask that father, how would you feel if your son came home and said, you know, my friend Johnny said that his mom won't let him play with me because you have tattoos, you ride a motorcycle, and she thinks you're a criminal, like the people on Sons of Anarchy she saw on TV. She doesn't want me hanging out with you. She thinks we're bad people. She thinks you're a drug dealer. She thinks you're running guns for Mexicans. What would this father say to his son? I know what I would say to my child if I walked around looking like this all the time and my child's friends saw me looking like this. I would say, you know what? That was a TV show. We are not all like that. We like to ride motorcycles. We like tattoos. What we look like does not define how you should think about us. Don't paint us all with that broad brush. There was a really beautiful, beautiful story in the news last week, and it came from England. 7-year-old little girl who lost her leg. 7 years old now. She lives in England, but her skin is darker than her classmates. She's of Indian descent. Well, she got a new leg, a pink leg. And it's a special leg because for the first time, she can run with her classmates. This leg is one of these sports blade legs that you can run and march. And this beautiful, dark-skinned little girl comes back to school. And all of these kids, all different colors. But what really caught me was the white kids. The white kids hugging this beautiful Indian girl. And they didn't see her dark skin. They saw her pink leg, her new pink leg. They saw pink. And they were hugging her and, oh my gosh, let's run. Let's march together. That's something you should show your kids. It's beautiful. All these little pale-skinned English kids running up to this dark-skinned little Indian girl, and all they saw was pink. Look at your new leg. And they didn't even care that it's a fake leg. I mean, look, I've heard people drunk saying horrible things about people with one arm or one leg. They make jokes about it. And these little 7-year-olds are like, oh my God, that is the coolest thing ever. We love you. Welcome back to school. We're so happy you're here. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that what we want our kids to do? Is it really about who is a Christian and who is a Jew and where somebody goes to church? or if somebody's mom has a couple tattoos or 12 holes in her ear. Let's see past what we look like and start accepting each other for who we are. There are all kinds of gods. Some people worship money as a god. That's why I don't freak out when people get upset when the Pledge of Allegiance says one nation under God. God is anything you want it to be. My Wiccan friends, they worship gods and goddesses. My Buddhist friends worship the god of Buddha. Allah is a god. Messiah is a god for the Jews. There's all kinds of gods. But we are not one nation under Jesus Christ. We are not one nation under Christianity. God can be anything you want it to be. But when we start hating each other simply because of where we go to church or that we don't go to church, or that our president is signing executive orders that now allow churches to become involved, and that happened last week, and it fell under the radar because of the healthcare thing. But he basically just said the Johnson Act is null and void. Yes, churches are still tax exempt, but now they can endorse political candidates. They can tell their parishioners who the church wants you to vote for. Now that's scary. Most churches, their congregants, they know what the church thinks, but they still vote their conscience. But now, every Sunday, they can hear their priest get up at the podium and preach from the pulpit. You know, you don't want to vote against that Democrat because they're going to let the gays shop at your bakery. You don't want to be making cakes for gay people. You don't want the person who wants women to be using birth control because uteruses are supposed to be used. You women, you're supposed to be barefoot and pregnant. That's your job. Well, thanks to Donald Trump, now churches are going to be allowed to do that. When you go to church on Sunday, during election cycles, you will be able to hear that from the pulpit. When you give money to your church, the church will now be allowed to donate that money to a political campaign of a candidate the church would like to see elected so that that candidate can make laws forcing all of us to live by your religion. I'm sorry, everybody, that's not what America is. Not my America. I have told you guys many times that I dance to the beat of my own drummer. In tomorrow's show, I will certainly be talking about that. Something happened to me this past weekend that really brought that home to me and made me very proud of this show, of all of you who watch the show with respect and intelligence. And tomorrow's show is going to be interesting. But to end this show, no public school should be endorsing, recruiting, saying one religion is better than another. Man, I don't like big hair anymore. But when one religious group is being harassed or treated badly, or when any child is being bullied and is afraid to come to school because of something they hear at home, and they always do, we already know that children aren't born with hate. Children are not born knowing that somebody of a different color is not welcome in my home. The parents teach that. We don't associate with the blacks. We don't associate with the Jews. You can't marry a Jew. Come on. Love is love. And love is not privy to one religion. Every single religion in the world, including atheism and agnostic, all of those people who practice those trains of thought have the ability to love, and they do. They love their wives. They love their children. They love their husbands, their parents, their grandparents. They love their neighbors. They're good neighbors. Love is not only one religion. Not one religion has the lottery on love. Every human being has the capacity and the ability to love, if only that love is allowed to show through. But when we sit around the dining room table or we make Facebook pages and show them to our children and say, look what daddy did today. Those evil Muslims, they're not going to get you. Really? Oh, that kid has two mommies. No, they're evil. They're an abomination. You can't associate with that child. Really? That person's skin is darker than yours. They're different than you. You don't want to be around them. Really? And I don't want the school district to protect children from harassment, from bigotry, and from prejudice. I'm sorry, that is my tax dollars well spent. Because I would much rather a group come in and talk to a school, a body of school children, and educate them, rather than getting that horrible breaking news that there was a shooting or a bombing at a school where a child I love is attending. I would rather have children educated about the fact that being different does not mean that you're evil. It just means you're different. Rather than seeing police cars and ambulances and stretchers with dead babies on them. I would rather have the children educated, not recruited, and nobody in San Diego did that. They simply wanted to teach these children that their classmates are not evil. Just because in the news it seems to be that some of the radicals that practice their particular religion are evil. There are evil Christians, there are evil Jews, there are evil Muslims, there are evil everybody. But there are also beautiful and wonderful and loving Muslims, Jews, Christians, Buddhists, Wiccans, atheists, agnostics. They're just people. We're just people, and these are kids. They're little kids. And they soak up everything they hear you say because they admire you. And you know what? Maybe they shouldn't. So yeah, I look kind of cute today, kind of cool. Probably embarrass the shit out of my kid if I would have a kid and take them to school looking like this. But again, what does it matter? Yeah, my mommy looks different, but my mom's really cool. She's a great mom. She makes cookies when she's not riding her jet ski. She just looks different. She's not all that different. She's got a heart. She bleeds red. And she cries when a little girl goes to school in England with a pink leg and dark skin. And all her classmates see is pink, the pink leg, and how cool it is. So my mom might look badass. She might look like what your mom thinks is a drug dealer because she rides a motorcycle or rides a jet ski and wears a jacket and has her nose pierced and her eyebrow pierced and a couple tats. But my mom cries salty tears and she bleeds red, just like your mommy. And my mommy taught me that I should love everybody. That's a real gift you give to your children. Difference is not evil. Evil is everywhere. People who look like them, talk like them, and worship like them can also be evil. Your children need to understand that too. Is it a lesson you're willing to teach? As always, this show is very different than the one I planned. And it was completely no notes, no scripts, no nothing, because after I watched this video, I was set aback. So this is your show. Let me know what you think of what I had to say. Of course, your opinions always mean so much to me. But again, when I am talking about religion, please, 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 you are allowed to disagree with me. I want to hear what you really believe, but please be respectful to each other, especially. I put myself here. I tell you this all the time. And tomorrow's show is going to really be about this. It's very personal for me, tomorrow's show. You can kind of attack me or tell me I'm wrong, but here's what you please can't do. Please don't attack anyone else. Any of the courageous people who come on this show and comment and share their beliefs and their opinions with us. They need to be respected because I want them to keep coming back and feel comfortable here. After all, I'm inviting you into my home. I want you to feel comfortable and welcome. So please respect each other on this very hot topic of religion. Okay, so you can disagree. You can vehemently disagree. But keep it respectful, please. That's all I ask. No slang, no horrible words, none of that, please. This show is, again, always about love and about how we are all more alike than we are different. We bleed red, we cry salty tears. And there's a little girl in England with a pink leg and dark skin who sent that message around the world. Political Paula, out.